What's up guys, Philip here, and I am back in the garage to let you guys in on a little secret. Now, I don't know too many people who like to be weaker. A lot of people would like to be stronger. So how do you get stronger and move more weight? Well, you fix your technique, of course. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the end of the video. How do you fix your technique if you don't know what you are doing in the first place? I used to be the kind of person who thought if you went into the gym and filmed yourself, you were vain and it was unnecessary. Why do you have to do that? Just get in the gym, work, grind, and it will sort itself out, of course. But when I started filming myself and realizing how terrible my form was on many of my key lifts, I started making a lot more progress. Through the time that I have been filming myself, I fixed so many issues with my main lifts and I have busted through plenty of plateaus. So I wanted to take you guys along with me in this video for a little film study of how I used to do it, how I do it now, and how it has helped me get stronger. So let's go ahead and look at that film. Okay guys, so let's take a look at my squats and my deadlifts. Starting with my deadlifts. Now this is an old video, you can tell because I still have hair. And trigger warning, if you don't want to see a cat back deadlift, just go ahead and click out of this video. But starting with this old deadlift, set up wise, I used to employ a rollback to the shins and sit into the deadlift method before pulling. My rationale was to get as much of my body behind the bar as possible, but what I did not realize is I had my shoulders way over the bar when starting the pull, and I really was not getting any leg drives, any quad involvement on the drive phase of the bottom of the deadlift. So if you see right here as I sit into the deadlift, the shins are not forward over the bar really at all, and the shoulders are way over the bar, which sets me up for failure. Number one. Number two, you can tell my arms are not taut at all. I have not put any tension in them, and I am completely rounded to start the pull in my back. So basically setting myself up for failure in every way that I can. And this is 600 pounds on the bar. Just for reference. So this is actually the first time I did 600 pounds, and you can tell because it is ugly. And at this point, I had not filmed really any of my lifts, so I thought I looked like Jamal Browner out here doing deadlifts. So let's go ahead and watch it. I start the pull. You notice I just immediately turn it into a stiff leg deadlift. Basically, my back is rounded. I guess not stiff leg, my knees are bent, but basically my knees are bent, my back is rounded, and I am getting all the movement through my back at this point. My legs really aren't helping at all, and I am just fighting for survival. So after I get it past my knees, right about here, you can tell I am in a C, and at that point, it makes the pull exponentially harder to lock out. It's just the worst position you can be in a deadlift from my experience. So as you can tell, I proceed to struggle to lock it out, turning red as a beet and getting ready to go to the hospital after this pull to get my back fused. So that was a terrible pull. And so let's look at what it looks like now. So notice I have more tension through the arms. You can tell because you can see those triceps flexing, and you can also see the elbows rotated backwards just a little bit. Now you see right there the flattening of my back, right there. Flattening of my back, getting ready. So I have tension through my arms, tension through my lats, and a flat back. Now in that position, I sit into position. I start with the bar over my mid feet to give myself room to sit into position with my knees a little bit over the bar, which gives me a little bit of more ability to drive the ground away from me as opposed to pulling the bar from the ground. So I pull with good tension. Now, I could probably start with my butt a little bit higher because the first thing that happens is my butt rises a little. But you notice the back stays relatively flat, and I am able to, once I get it past the knees, you can see that's just a much better position. I'm not really in a C, and I finish the pull much better. And it locks out smoothly, and you can actually tell that my legs are locked out as opposed to the soft lockout on 600 pounds from the old deadlift. Now, I do want to mention this is on my deadlift bar, but it's 610 pounds, and it is without straps. So just much better pull all around. So let's watch them together. Again, this is just from the drive phase. You can tell I'm in a better position on the right, the way I do it now, to pull from a strong position. Back is straight, and I'm able to kind of drive the ground away from me, as opposed to on the left where my back is completely caved and I'm not really able to use my legs at all because my shoulders are over the bar and I am a screeching cat. And I will let them just play through. They're pretty similar speeds, but you will notice the one on the right moves much better. It is more weight, and I actually lock it out faster, and you can see right here that my knees on the right are locked out. I have a full lockout, and my knees on the left are not locked out. They are kind of a soft lockout, and I'm trying to kind of hyperextension to complete the pull, but the knees are still soft. So overall, those technical differences, I'll play it back one more time just so you can see. Just watch them. See the difference. Now, moving on to my squat, here's my squat from when I first kind of was able to get back into squats. To be fair to myself, I had not done too many barbell back squats in quite a while. Before these, I was doing my SSB at the time because that's what I was able to do. But you'll notice as I go down, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it looks okay, but what you're not seeing is the fact that I have no tension through my back, and I also have the bar sitting up a little bit higher, and because of that, when I get into the hole, I am not set up to drive out of the hole, and this is the second rep on a double, so let's watch what happens with that 405. Ooh, terrible. Okay, so again, down wasn't terrible. Elbows are not way too far back, but because I had no tension in my back and I was not planning to drive my shoulders into the bar, you notice my knees extend immediately without anything happening with my hips, which puts me in this position, basically doing a 405-pound good morning. At that point, the bar rolls up onto my neck and puts me in this position, right, or not onto my neck, but onto my traps while in a good morning and putting me in this position. My elbows shoot up because really what else are they going to do when the bar is that far forward? And basically I'm fighting for my life at this point. Okay, so I'm able to lock it out, but that is in spite of very bad technique. Now, moving on to the 405-pound squats that I did just a couple days ago. Now, this was on a back down. The other one was a top set, fully rested. This is on a back down after doing 430 pounds for a set of 3 paused, and this is the second rep of a 4-rep set on 405. And now, again, the other one was a second rep on a 2-rep set. This is a second rep on a 4-rep set. And you would say, yes, you know, you're not really comparing apples to oranges, but I would argue that I'm actually stronger in this one, and this is the second rep, apples to apples, because of my technical efficiency allowing me to be stronger. So enough with the jibber jabber. Let's look at the differences. Going down, you will notice, well, you can't really see it. You can't tell because it's from the front, but I am pulling my shoulder blades together and down, almost like you would do on a bench press to create a little bit of an arch, and pulling the bar down across my back, which is creating a lot more tension through my back and allowing me to hold my position a little bit better. So I descend. I also have my weightlifting shoes on, which obviously help here. Get down to the bottom, get a little pause. You'll notice the difference in when I drive. My knees and my hips right there drive a little bit better together. They coordinate the movement better, and it leaves me in this position, which is a much better position than I was in on the other squat. So just playing it through, and I'm able to just lock the squat out through the rep. Now let's look at them side by side. And this one is pretty enlightening. So I'll just let it play and then analyze them. Do I even have to say anything about that? I mean, look at the difference, guys. Okay, so going down, they look pretty similar. I mean, the one thing that I notice is on the right, my head is more in line. I have a neutral spine as opposed to on the left when I knew I would be fighting for my life and trying to look up. So I sit into position. One thing that you will notice with my legs on the right is my knees are a little bit more in line with my feet pointing. I'm creating more of an inline with the hips, the knees, and the feet. On the left, you can see hopefully that I don't have as much external rotation, of the hips, and my knees are not out in line as much with my feet. They're almost forward a little bit and caved in from the beginning so that when I push, my power is not translated directly. And on the left, I fire off first, but I really do not use my hips at all. I get all of it through my knee extension and then have to fight for my life through my hips. On the right, I fire off kind of both at the same time. And so it puts me in a much better position on the right. I'm in a perfect position to lock the rep out. On the left, I am about to pass out, poop myself, and die. So one more time, I'll let those play through all the way. There you have it, guys. The proof is in the pudding.